Welcome back! Welcome back to the final edition of Weird Stuff Narcissists Do. Today, we're talking about the stuff that doesn't fit in any of those other categories. It's stuff that's just plain weird. So, let's get started. Closed captioning provided by Athena Moberg and cptsdfoundation.org. My name is Angie Atkinson, and on this channel I offer free daily video coaching to help you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. I like to call it toxic relationship rehab. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button and let's get going. Like I said, this is the final edition of the Weird Stuff Narcissists Do series, and it includes all of the answers that didn't quite fit into the other categories I've done so far. These answers are the weirdest answers. These answers are the ones that will make you go, what? And I'm not kidding. Just to remind you, these are not my thoughts, these are not my ideas, these are the actual experiences of the people from our Spanily group on Facebook, the Span group, the survivors of narcissistic abuse, who were kind enough to share with us their weirdest narcissist moments. So let's just jump right into it. Take a look.
Just plain weird things that narcissists do. Number 1. Changed his name to a character from a movie. Expected everyone to call him Rhett, then wanted me to be Scarlett, like I was reading a line on a script. Number 2. After our daughter was born, he kept her placenta in a jar and took it with him everywhere. Number 3. Saying I cannot be LGBTQ because he read a book about it, then saying the same to a friend who is a Jewish woman because how could she possibly know? She never read the book. Number 4. While we were in church, every time we would pray, he would get up and leave. Number 5. He would regularly sleep only about 2 hours a night. Claimed 2 hours sleep was enough for anyone. Number 6. He threw me on the floor, then got out every single leftover prescription bottle he could find and took photos. He then called the cops to have me arrested for hitting him while I was taking too many meds. That backfired. They showed up and he looked crazy. Number 7. We were going on vacation and we needed someone to feed our pets. Well, I posted on Facebook that we needed help and one of my female friends said she could do it. The night before we left, I bought some more food and decided to put the last bit of food out of the bag. This is a continuation, number 8. When I poured the food out, a pillowcase fell out of the bag. The bag was crumpled up from use and I knew someone intentionally put it there. So I asked my youngest daughter, did she do it? And she said no. I asked her because she's 8 years old. I have 2 other kids who also said they didn't do it. I even asked my wife and wouldn't you know, she said she didn't do it. I guess we have poltergeists. Number 9. He tried to sell all of my clothing to his female attorney. He said he split all the towel sets because they are community property and everything is 50-50. I did eventually get some of my clothes back. All of the bathing suit bottoms were missing. Number 10. He bought a special type of linoleum flooring to make a huge circle. He drew the 4 corners and bought a golden cistern to summon demons to tell us the future of the world. He and I were the 2 witnesses spoken of in Revelation. He also wanted to kill a calf and make pants from it, start walking in those pants, state the name of a different city or country, and supposedly be orbed there or something. He used to say stuff like, I can't help it if God chose me. You know, the chosen one. He went to Jerusalem to get closer to God, but ended up sleeping with every hooker there, telling me how amazing he was, that some nights he only wanted to hold them all night. Number 11. When my husband all of a sudden decided to discard me 14 years ago, he didn't leave, he just stopped talking to me for years and acted very hostile. He stopped letting me do his laundry. He would hide it and then do it after I went to bed at night. I seriously thought he had a brain tumor or something. He's only recently told me why. He said it was because he didn't want to have to depend on me for anything. Eventually, he let me start doing his laundry again, though. Surprise, surprise. Number 12. Once he racked up a $500 phone bill to a sex line in my name, denied it, threatened to sue the phone sex company until they showed him the recordings of the phone calls. Guess who paid it? But he was outraged when I didn't outwardly profess my utmost respect for him, for he was a chosen prophet of God and had more talent and power in the tip of his little finger than I and all of my stupid little friends had put together. It takes all types, I guess. Some people are plain strange. I'm grateful that I've been away from him for over 20 years, but I wonder whenever I look back, what the F was I thinking? Number 13. Mine worked at a hospital as a patient care tech and would steal things from work and bring them home in his lunch cooler. He started off with coffee packets, and when I told him that hospital coffee was terrible, he said, hey, it's free. I asked him not to steal any more coffee, so he didn't. Then he sold washcloths. He could pack so many of those in his lunch cooler, and every day he would come home with at least half a dozen. We ended up with drawers and drawers full of washcloths. They were taking over the place. Number 14. How about throwing a literal 2-year-old temper tantrum in a doctor's office when I didn't immediately cower to his threats? Complete with death threats, followed the next day by an attempt to get a restraining order, at which point the video I blatantly and openly took paid off big time. Number 15. When watching 4th of July fireworks, he would cover his eyes when one burst. I don't really even know why he even came. He refused to look up. Thought his eyes would burn up. Number 16. Obsession over dying and aging. Not in a healthy way like getting ready for it, but like they are the only one and such a victim. Number 17. Saying they believe in reincarnation, but they were a king or a princess or a medicine woman, never a peasant or an ordinary citizen. Number 18. He wore sunglasses in the house on sunny days. Number 19. He's terrified of the number 53. He swears it follows him and haunts his dreams. He says he's going to die when he's 53 because the number won't stop chasing him. Number 20. He chews on the side of his finger when he's nervous. Number 21. When we moved in together, he gave me a ring. He said he'd been given years ago by an old man he was friends with. Said it would one day be his wedding ring. He asked me to wear it around my neck as a sign that we would be engaged soon. I did. We got married and he had it as his ring. Fast forward to me finding out 3 years later that he had been married before and the ring was the same one he used for that marriage. Number 22. In the car, if someone drove by us in a nicer car, he would yell out the window, "I hope you get cancer and AIDS or get in a horrible accident, you a-hole." We got followed quite a few times. He'd call the cops and play the victim card. Number 23. Throw himself in the floor and kick and scream, saying, "This is too hard to keep up." I'm assuming it was the mask he was wearing at the time. Number 24. Suddenly, he's super religious, but only when someone's looking. So he'll be on his knees praying in his bedroom with the door open, or reading his Bible, but only if I'm there to observe. He takes his Bible to work and only reads it when someone might see him do it. Very pious. Number 25. He's always accidentally breaking stuff. I'm not sure if that's a weird narcissist thing or not. I used to make him replace things. Now I don't care, since I know I'm leaving. He can keep it all. Number 26. He was watching Sunday Mass on TV with no shirt on, and he had a cigarette in his mouth. He had recently gotten out of bed after a very late night out doing whatever. The priest on TV had his arms up to each side and was praying out loud over the altar. The histrionic narcissist was acting as though he was deeply involved with the TV, and he was pretending to be the priest. And he held his arms up and out and was praying out loud along with the priest, cigarette dangling from his mouth. The narcissist had delusions about being the Messiah, despite being very far from godly. It was very creepy to watch, but oddly humorous in a disturbing way. Number 27. Things disappear quite often, and he often misplaces things. He's got a huge key ring of keys under his floor mat of my truck that he rarely drives right now. Not sure what that's all about, so I guess they can just stay there. Number 28. Told me that I was only allowed to have 2 bad days a week. At least that's all he was willing to hear about, if I had any more. After I told him that it wasn't going to work long term, he called me on my way to work one day and told me he just wanted to let me know that he called CPS on me. Number 29. He had fierce, and I mean serious, superstitions about weird things like white lighters, refused to use them, wouldn't allow them in our house, etc. ad nauseam. Number 30. Go into a sneezing fit. He refused to get allergy treatment, which would scare me because he screamed when he sneezed, very loud and sudden, then yelled at me for an hour afterward just because I flinched when I was scared. I didn't make a noise or complain while he had a sneezing fit in my home office while I was working. Number 31. We were newlyweds. I made my very first quiche from scratch and we had it for dinner with salad. Oh, he enjoyed that quiche and had 3 large pieces. "This quiche is delicious," he said, and I was so pleased. He asked what's in it, and I told him Swiss cheese, eggs, onions. Well, he interrupted me, furious. "Swiss cheese? I hate Swiss cheese." He shoved his plate toward me angrily and left the table. Number 32. Walk back and forth having a full conversation with another person. The other person was not present. Speaking for both sides and working out scenarios. So weird. Number 33. Went through my things when I left the room. That was weird enough, but he also left his phone with me when he deployed, and via his iCloud account I could see all the messages in it, in which he was flirting with other women, etc. Then he denied it. His ex actually reached out to me and told me about him, but he, of course, said she was crazy and I should just block her.
All right, what do you think about all of that? This brings me to the question of the day. The question of the day is, do any of those sound familiar to you? Have you been there? Or what weird experiences did you have with a narcissist? Share your thoughts, share your ideas, share your own experiences in the comment section below, and let's talk about it. That's all I've got for you right now, but as always, thank you so much for being a part of my day and a part of my life, and hey, thanks for letting me be a part of yours. It really does mean a lot to me. Now, before I go, make sure you take a look at the videos I'm leaving for you right here and right here. And while you're here, hit that subscribe button right there so we can stay connected and continue on this healing journey together. I'll see you soon.